People really liked the video that I did on prompt files and how I used them to create new tools or new features really quickly just from using one SOP, one framework. So I have this prompt file here, which walks through how you would create a new free tool on my SaaS product website. And we have an example, and this was the meta tag tool that in the last video where I talked about prompt files, we built this. And what happens is you throw in a URL, you click preview, and it gives you the SEO data, the title, the image, and a bunch of meta tags. And in this example, I realized that the description was incorrect for what the product was. And I just set that originally and then didn't go back to it. So I want to show you a new way of doing this, a different way that's a little bit more modular, and you can use it in better ways. And it's using a new feature inside of Cursor called Composer Projects. So if you go to settings, features, and make sure that projects is enabled, this basically lets you create and share context between composers. And I'm using these for SOPs. I think that's the best way to do it. You can collect a bunch of data about a feature, about a way of doing things, outlines, instructions, whatever you want to call it, and then you can call them in your composers. And it just means that every time you work on a specific area of the site, you know that the right files and the right information has been added to the context. So let's have an example. If we hit Command-Shift-I, this is one that I built based on that prompt file. It's exactly the same. I've just removed all of the actual examples that were sort of hard-coded in there. And on the right-hand side over here, I've actually included them as focus files. So Cursor has all of these files as context. I've even added the meta tag preview one as well, because a lot of SEO tools are going to require us to take a URL from the user, and this one does that. So it's just another piece of context that the LLM can use to create these tools really quickly. So we're going to build an example here. And what I want to do, I had a look on Ahrefs and found sitemap extractor as a keyword. So search volume is 90, but the global search volume is 800. So there's lots of different phrasings and wordings of this, but this is a useful tool. And this one here is one that I've used quite a lot. You throw in an XML sitemap URL, hit load, and it will pull all of the results into a text box. Simple enough, and it's got some quick answers here, like FAQs and things. So I think we can use this Composer project to actually build our own version. So I'm going to go down here and click New Composer, and then I'm going to open it up so I can see it. Must be this one here. Yep, so as you can see, we've got this little box. This means that the project is active within the context of this composer. So then what we want to do really is just give it some information about the new tool that we want to create. So we want to let users submit their URL and try to find, what we're trying to find, XML sitemaps. We could try their robots text file, or using common sitemap conventions if none exist there. And then we want to extract them. If I can actually type the word extract the URLs to a text box with one-click copy all. And then we want to see the example here. And then we'll go back and grab the URL here. Come back over here, hit that, add the link. Okay, and that's it. So I don't need to give it any more context than that, because the project has everything it needs to create a new tool. And we'll see if it works, because people thought that the prompt file I used before I'd tweaked or engineered in some way so that it would create the perfect meta tag tool. It's not true. I just did it on the fly, and we're going to do the same thing here. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, we'll debug it. But it's creating the files in the right locations. Everything looks good. So it's definitely pulling in all of those files that I added to the context. I'm going to minimize this because I don't want to. One thing with when you've got the composer in the full view here is that you can only accept all. I like to minimize it and then just do save all for the time being. And then when I'm ready and I know that it is correct and it works, then I can hit accept. Sometimes you need to tweak things, and if you accept, it's hard to go back across multiple files. So I prefer save all. Okay, so let's refresh the page. Now in here, we've got a sitemap extractor. Okay, let's try Hrefs. I don't even know if they've got a sitemap. No sitemap found for that one. Okay, let's try one of my old tools, and I know they've got a sitemap, Cuppa SH. Try that. Okay, it's doing something. And look at that. It's found 25 URLs, one-click copy. I don't like that, but it's okay. We can fix that with I've got a modal component somewhere that we could use. But that's literally like, we're 6 minutes in, and I've built an XML sitemap extractor. And there's a bit of an article here. I could probably tweak that and get Cursor to improve it now that it knows how the tool's built. But that's pretty, I mean, this is insane. You can build a full suite of free tools now at the click of a button with one simple prompt and then your Cursor project. And I find this much better. I'll accept all because that's brilliant. I will close that. I think this is better than the prompt files in many ways, because this is obviously down here. You have to tag the file and you have to actually give it examples. There's no other context. It all has to be within here. Whereas with the project, I can come back and add to this and add new files and more examples. Now I could go on here and I could add in, what did we call it again? The sitemap. I could add in the sitemap extractor examples. So every time I'm adding a new tool, I add more context, it learns more, it can create better tools next time. I mean, this blows my mind how quick you can build stuff now. All you need is an idea and a really good SOP. Give it a try and let me know what you think.